welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs. Scott Ferreira, founder, CEO, managing partner of CMDR. How are you, my friend?
Great, Francisco. How are you?
You've got some incredible stories. But before we get to your stories, I got to show people your business card. Check this out. It's a deck of cards. It's a deck of cards. It's amazing. So each card is different.
It's a full deck, and the idea came about actually because I had sponsored a deck of cards on Kickstarter. And so this was one of the only deck of cards that a company called Bicycle has agreed to make that was outside of their own deck of cards. And so as one of the biggest backers of it, I had an uncut sheet of cards hanging in my room after my first company was acquired. And so I was thinking of a new way to create a business card, and deck of cards came up.
And we should say this is part of what you do. You're a marketer. You're a promoter. You invent companies. You are an entrepreneur at large.
I was going to say, I try to do a lot of different things when it comes to building and growing small companies, right? And so that often requires everything from the technical side of knowing how to build a tech company, and then from the marketing side, how to get it out there. How can you do things that are creative that other people maybe haven't thought of? And especially in my current line of business where we help Command Our Consulting is all about helping people build and develop their websites and mobile applications. There are a lot of groups out there that claim to help do that, right?
Okay.
And so how do I stand apart? Well, these business cards have been a great piece for that.
It's the greatest icebreaker that I can think of, because people will talk about that.
100%.
And some people actually ask for the King of Hearts or the Ace of Spades, whatever, but they don't want the low numbers.
All the time.
Isn't that weird?
And it's funny because sometimes even people have their own, like favorite number or lucky number or something. So,
and you're like,
hey, can I get the 6 of something? I'm like, okay. And I've gotten some hilarious stories too about, this one guy was at a casino once and won, he won like the biggest pot that he's ever won, right, with a 2 of hearts and 2 of spades, which is a random hand. But I guess then 2 other 2s flopped during this Texas Hold'em game.
Yeah.
So he wanted those 2 cards in particular.
God.
He was, can I have 2 of them? So you get some really interesting stories and some really interesting requests when you have a business card like that.
You have some terrific stories. And for as young as you are, you've been involved in several very successful startups. Tell us about, first of all, how you got involved into entrepreneurship. I mean, were you always, did you always have this passion for creating things, for inventing things, and for executing things?
Yeah, I think so. I think it started at a really young age where I just loved building and creating. And it kind of started with your typical Legos, or there was actually something, I don't even know if it's still around, but it was called Rokenbach, which was like this weird, almost like erector's set thing.
Yes.
That integrated well with Legos, and so I just loved building stuff from that. And that's really what got me started on, I can build something out of nothing, or it's never out of nothing, right? It's always out of these different pieces that you have, and I think actually that's really important. A lot of people talk about building something from nothing, and I think a lot of people, I understand that idea, but you're never building something from nothing. You're always taking pieces, putting them together in a new way that somebody else hasn't thought to put something together in, right? And so that's what I think is really unique about being able to build with Legos and some of that from an early age, and just ignore the books they give you and build anything you want.
But one thing that sets you apart is the fact that you're incredibly persistent, creative, and you just don't give up on your first failure.
You have to be. One of my favorite sayings of all times is, water cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence, right?
That's very true.
And so I think that holds true for just about anybody building a business of any sort, right? You're gonna have ups and downs. More downs in the very beginning, or what feel like downs, and you just have to be able to persevere and keep going.
But this is the The story about perseverance that really stands out for me is when you created your My Social Cloud
Correct.
company. You had a very, very interesting backer.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, so was fortunate enough to have Richard Branson of the Virgin Group be one of
Sir
our first.
Richard Branson.
Sir Richard Branson, correct.
Right. Do you call him sir, or
It's
are you like,
actually-
hey, dude?
It's actually funny. A lot of people don't call him Sir Richard Branson. I think that's more of a thing in the United States. But when I go over, I've done some speaking in the UK, and even when I talk to him, the Sir is not used very often. So I kind of forget that from time to time now. But yeah, he was a great investor and kind of mentor, and really helped get My Social Cloud to that next level.
But you got to him by persistence.
Yeah, through a lot of people don't know, because a lot of the story that's out there publicly, right, is Richard Branson investing, and that really started My Social Cloud. But I had been working on it for over a year and a half before that,
Right.
Just kind of out of my dorm room at USC, and had a lot of different team members coming and going, helping with various aspects of the platform before that summer in 2011, when I decided to take it a little bit more seriously and brought on some co-founders, where we ended up.
How do you contact him? How do you get to him?
Yeah, so it was that summer that we were kind of hanging out in our South Central LA office, if you can call it that. And we were on Twitter and saw a tweet from him that said, hey, I want to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Virgin Atlantic by meeting young and upcoming entrepreneurs. And so wasn't even old enough to drink at the time. Here I was sending an email to go to his cocktail party. Was there with my sister Stacy, and sure enough, his secretary emailed back, said, hey, if you guys can get here in the next 48 hours, we'll save you a spot to meet with Richard Branson. And it was funny because at that time, there was no expectation of getting funding, right? And I think that's the thing that's really important, is sometimes you just got to take that leap. All we knew was we were going to meet with him, right? We had no expectation of funding anything at that time, but he really liked what we were up to. He gave us a few clear objectives to hit, and we were able to hit them within a month. And so we went from meeting him to getting about 1.5 million in investment from him, Jerry Murdoch, and Alex Welch of Photo Bucket within right around a month, actually. So phenomenal experience.
Incredible experience. Now, that doesn't happen to everyone.
Correct. Yeah.
And so when you look back at that time, you're like, yeah, man, this was incredibly unique.
Yeah.
And it makes you appreciate and be grateful for what happened.
Certainly. And I like to say it's a little bit of, luck always plays a little bit of a factor in this, but you got to follow that up with hard work, right? I was at the right place, right time, looking at Twitter at the right time, able to email them at just the right time. But if we hadn't followed up with our really hard work to building out this platform, the investment would have never happened, right?
You had to pretty much say, all right, this is my idea, this is all what I'm saying is cool, but if I didn't put this hard work behind it, it means nothing.
Exactly.
It means nothing. What is the best advice that you could give somebody that is looking to become an entrepreneur?
Just go out there and get started. I see so many entrepreneurs say, oh, well, if only I had this, or if only I had that. It's really about just getting started in any way, shape, or form you can.
However you can get started, just do it. Yep. Just get started.
Yeah.
Worry about stuff as you go along.
And don't try to think of things. A lot of people are quick to say, oh, well, for my business to be successful, I need to be, have X, Y, and Z and have all these different things. You can start businesses fairly simply these days with really small pieces. And so I encourage people to take their big ideas, which are great to have, but really try to refine it down to one small piece they can get started on, see if people are interested, see if they can generate some revenue, and then start growing from there.
And that is interesting because when you start something, my goodness, you spend so much time and effort creating your logo and your website and everything else, and you lose sight of the fact that what's starting this business is maybe the good concept that I have.
Yeah. And providing value for people, right? Okay, you have a great logo. Okay, you have a great website. Is that providing value for whoever your audience is? Possibly not, right? And so that's something that I'm always working with people on, how to create that value.
Now that you have all these cards, I'm going to show you a card trick.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, push any card.
Push any card.
Yeah, push any card towards me. Okay? All right, I'm closing my eyes.
Got it.
Everybody can see. Everybody can see the card, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's just shuffle it.
Shuffle it?
Shuffle. I did not see the card. I did not see the card. This is, by the way, this is Scott Ferreira's. This is his business cards. Actually, we're doing a little trick with the business cards, right?
I like it. Yeah, these are my cards. I brought them in. I can
brought
attest to that.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put 2. All right. Choose one of them.
Like the top card?
No, just choose one of these.
One of the decks. All right.
All right. So you don't. All right. So you don't want this. Perfect. Maybe your card is here. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Choose one of these 2. Jesus. All right. You're gonna make me look bad, brother.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Choose one of these 2. Do you want that one?
Or that card, sure.
Okay, wait. So you want that pack? All right. So let me see what's happening here. I don't know what's going on here. Pick a card. Pick another card. Pick another card. Put your finger right there. Lift it up. Was this your card?
That was, in fact, my card.
With that,
Francisco, you're going to have to tell me how you did
we're
that.
out.